Hey guys, welcome to chapter 2 of Camp Drama of Horrid Henry and Rudolph. It's a ship, but let's get into it. The day finally came when Ashton Primary were going to nature park. Henry's parents had been delighted to come onto the school trip as well when they heard that parents were welcome to come along and help. But the only part that Henry was happy about was that he got to spend time with Ralph and sleep in the same tent with him. Henry, we're nearly late because of you. Pull your act together because you're not being fair to everyone else, his mother said as they joined the crowd of students waiting to get on the bus. Not fair, Henry thought miserably. If you asked him, life wasn't fair. It wasn't fair that his parents always blamed him when they were late for something. It wasn't fair that they never satisfied with Henry's school work even though he did his best. It wasn't fair that Henry always got into trouble for things he didn't do. It wasn't fair that Henry never got to watch the TV programs he wanted or have the toys he asked for simply because his parents didn't like them, even though they let Peter have whatever he wanted. It wasn't fair when his parents told him to grow up and be more like his perfect little brother Peter. Nothing about that was fair. I didn't nearly make us late, Mom, Peter said. Well done, my wonderful boy, his mother smiled. Another sting. Henry wanted to throw up. He felt tears run down his face but quickly wiped them off. Henry, he heard an exciting voice calling at the distance behind him. There was only one person that could be. There was only there could only be one person with a voice soothing enough to calm Henry down for the most of the track's sake. Henry turned from the crowd to see Ralph waving to him across the street with a shy smile. Henry tucked away his stray hair behind his ear like a girl would, but he was super shy at the moment. You're still friends with that rude little rich kid, his father said, looking very unimpressed. Apparently, suddenly turned to his dad. He couldn't believe what he would say that about Ralph. They didn't even know him the way Henry does. If they got to experience the trauma Henry goes through every day, they would understand the reason why Henry loves him so. Why can't you have pleasant friends like Peter? His mother asked. Henry turned to Mom. He thought his parents were being so hypocritical. They have friends that are exactly like Ralph and sometimes worse, but yet they criticize Ralph on how he acts. Probably because no one would ever want to be friends with such a horrible person. He heard Peter mutter under his breath, but his parents didn't seem to hear. Henry felt another sting, but hid it away. Ralph isn't unpleasant, he said. He's a really good friend, Henry argued. He defended to the one person he loves, the one he wants to hold for the rest of his life. Shut up, worm, Henry scowled at Peter. Henry, don't be horrid to your brother. If you don't change your attitude, there will be no pocket money for 5 years. Henry's eyes were in shock. 5 years? Why is it always him? Peter never got into trouble. He always looked away and joined Ralph, which made him happy to be away from his parents and overjoyed to be with the one he loved so much. As they were getting on the bus with the rest of the crowd, Ralph ran up next to Henry. Henry's heart started racing and he blushed light pink blush, but also hid that. His parents gave Henry one more glance before joining the rest of the students on the bus with Peter. Sorry, I need a breath. That was way too. Okay. Hey, mate, your parents haven't been giving you a hard time again, have they? Ralph asked when he noticed the gloomy expression on Henry's face. Henry let one tear fall into his lap, and Ralph saw and frowned. Henry nodded as he and Ralph climbed up the steps and made their way to the seats at the back of the bus, away from his parents and teachers. Ralph? Henry said quietly, but enough to Ralph heard. Yes? Ralph was obviously concerned for his best friend and his crush. Henry had no idea Ralph could understand his feelings, but it wasn't the right time to get into that. There was a long silence between the two before Henry spoke up. I don't want to live anymore. I can't continue like this. Henry said as another tear fell, but he hid them all and pressed his hand on his back. Ralph's eyes wide in fear, so worried on what his best friend was going to do. Ralph felt his own tears water out of his eyes, but he held them back. Henry, no, I'm still here for you, and I will always be. Please don't leave me alone. You're an amazing, funny, cool, and smart person, but everyone just doesn't know it yet, Ralph exclaimed. Henry looked at Ralph like he has seen the most amazing thing ever. Henry then smiled, but then yawned. Thanks for that, Ralph. You're the best person that I ever known. I wouldn't want to leave you either, but I'm getting pretty tired. I should sleep. This is giving me hard in the dawn, since I can't sleep on the bus. Something soft on my head to lay on. Well, here I come, Torture, Henry said as he leaned on the side of the seat. Ralph knew that Henry was always tired, and he knew that Henry couldn't sleep on the bus. So after something he thought he never did. Hey, Henry, you can lay your head on my lap if you want. I know you're always tired and need your rest. Ralph said. Then Henry whipped his head to look at Ralph, as his mind racing to the thought that Ralph might love him too. But then he smiled silently at Ralph when the thought came to him that he only likes him as a friend. Ralph, you don't have to do this. I can handle another hour without sleep. Besides, what if you need to sleep too? Wouldn't you need to bend to go to sleep? Henry tried to finish the statement, but it all of a sudden cut off when Ralph suddenly pushed Henry's head onto his lap. Henry was shocked but liked this feeling. For the first time in forever he felt love. Henry then felt Ralph stroke his hair with sand. Henry blushed hard. I said go to sleep. I'll be right here for you, Henry. But please get some rest, Ralph said softly. He kept stroking Henry's hair, completely oblivious to the fact that Henry was blushing. Soon Ralph saw that Henry had fallen asleep in his lap. Ralph smiled and continued to stroke Henry's hair. Ralph wanted Henry to be his and only, but he thought Henry loved him in the way that a brother loves his brother. Ralph and Henry were in the same spot, only they didn't know it. Ralph then looked around at the seats. Everyone who was there. Aerobic Al, Anxious Andrew, Beefy Bert, Brainy Brian, Clever Claire, Dizzy Dave, Gorgeous Gurinder, Greedy Graham, Jolly Josh, Lazy Linda, Moody Margaret, Sour Susan, Weepy William, and the Best Boys. The bus journey took a whole hour to reach the nature park. It rumbled along the narrow pathways while the students happily chatted around what they wanted to do on the days come. The bus finally came to a halt in the car park surrounded by trees and fields. Not a building in sight except for the wooden huts by one of the fences of the fields. Ralph then saw that Henry was still asleep on his lap. He didn't want to ruin the moment with Henry, but he had to wake him up. I need another break. Wait, how long? Okay. Hey, Henry, wake up. We're here, Ralph softly spoke to Henry for a bit. Poked Henry for a bit. He saw Henry, I think that was supposed to be bit. Ralph softly poked Henry for a bit. He saw Henry open his eyes softly and look up at him. Ralph thought that he was so cute and wished he could get such face. Then they got up from the seats and heard Perfect Peter exclaim, "Oh, goody, we're here!" Peter cheered at the front of the bus. I hate camping, Henry grumbled. Ralph nodded, agreeing with Henry. When they climbed off the bus, they were greeted by one of the tour guides. "Hello, everyone. My name's Tour Guide Tegan, and I'll be assisting you while you're here," she exclaimed, smiling pleasantly at them all. Turning to Miss Battleaxe as she said, "Please just contact me if you need anything." She handed Miss Battleaxe's little walkie-talkie and strode off to the little wood huts. Right, everyone, let's find a place to eat our packed lunches, Miss Battleaxe boomed. Okay. The parents and the students found some benches a little walk down from the car park. Henry and Ralph trudged behind everyone with enthusiasm. By the time they got all the benches were taken, Ralph Oh, looks like we're gonna have to sit on the floor, Ralph said, sitting down next to the bench where Andrew, William, and Graham were sat. Sitting down next to Ralph, Henry opened the pack she'd been giving. Instead was a sandwich, crisp, a chocolate bar, an apple, and some salad. Henry licked his lips and he spied the chocolate bar. His parents never let him have chocolate anymore because they thought he didn't deserve it. Just as he was finishing the sandwich and about to eat the chocolate, a chubby hand dived into the lunch bag and snatched the chocolate bar and crisp. "Don't mind if I do," Graham said as he ripped the chocolate bar open and stuffed it into his mouth. "Hey, that was mine," Henry shouted angrily. "Henry, stop being so horrid and eat your vegetables," his mother scolded from the parents' and teachers' benches. "It's not fair," Henry huffed. Ralph broke his chocolate bar in half and offered some to Henry. "Here." Henry blushed and took the piece that Ralph offered him. He felt his cheeks heating up. Thanks, Ralph. He thanked him, and Ralph just smiled and gave Henry a small wink. Henry then blushed even more. Luckily, Ralph didn't see. The afternoon, the students had a water fight with the water guns they had. But when Henry tried to join in, his father told him off for being too rough and to sit out for the entire day. Nobody seemed to care that he was absent except Ralph, who sat by his side the entire time. Henry then went to go to his bag, which was stored in a small log cabin with the other bags. Ralph knew this was an excuse to go and cry. Ralph hurried, followed him, and saw Henry standing under a gloomy tree. Then his tear falls out, and with a small whimper, Ralph then sat by Henry and hugged him, soothing the crying boys back. They stayed there that way until Henry calmed down and it was dinner time. Okay, let me take like one more break because this is okay. For dinner they ate stew that tour guide Tegan had brought them, and she showed them all how to set up the tents. "My tents are going to be the biggest and the best," Margaret declared. "Yeah, biggest and best," Susan repeated. Setting up the tents was harder than Henry thought it was going to be. Every time Henry and Ralph tried to bend the poles upright, the entire thing would collapse. "You two numbskulls call that a tent?" Margaret crackled by the enormous tent her parents had bought her. Henry felt another sting, and Ralph noticed that Henry was feeling pain again. Ralph clenched his teeth and glared at Margaret. Ralph was about to make a return when Miss Beddoes walked past the tent. "If you are really that incapable of doing something as simple as putting up the tent, I'll do it," Miss Beddoes said, putting the tent together with her bony fingers. Again, Henry felt another sting in his fragile heart. Ralph then looked around. Henry Sanders looked at Ralph. They both looked at each other and smiled sadly. Today had been one of the worst days of Henry's life, and that was saying something. A burning sensation that building up behind his eyeballs all day. But Henry wouldn't cry. He never cried in front of anyone except for Ralph. He didn't think he'd be able to handle that much of any more criticism. There was only so much time he could take before the whole charade came crashing down. Now all he was looking forward to was a good night's rest. But before Henry could sleep, he started crying softly. When he looked over to the side to see Ralph sleeping. Henry lay down again and kept crying until he fell asleep. Of course, Ralph was only pretending to be asleep. Ralph heard Henry cry, and that broke his heart. How dare the stupid hypocrites outside their tents have the audacity to treat the love of his life like this? After a few minutes, Ralph heard that Henry was now asleep. He got out of his sleeping bag and crawled over to where Henry was sleeping. He saw Henry's stray tears fall down his cute face. Henry's heart ached seeing the boy he loved like that. He couldn't do anything tonight since everyone was already sleeping, but he could try and make Henry feel loved in the dream world. Henry gave Henry a soft kiss on his cheek. Ralph then scooted in his sleeping bag closer to Henry just in case to hear if Henry was having any problem sleeping. He didn't want to see his love suffer. He wanted to make him feel loved. Ralph then slayed back down, much closer to Henry than before, and closed his eyes after softly saying, "Good night, Henry. Sleep tight. I love you so much." Okay, that was in of chapter 2. My voice hurts. Everything hurts. My vocal cords hurt. But okay, bye.